All right, everybody, welcome back to the KSR YouTube channel. We've got to do a little more work on Phil's NASCAR because, well, I'm going to have this video come out on Saturday. We're taking this down to the Freedom Factory tonight for spectator drags. And no, we're not racing spectator drags. This is a race car and not really something, you know, spectator drag type thing. But I think we're going to be doing some exhibition laps with it. Just take it out there and make some amazing sounds for you guys that are going to the spectator drags down at the Freedom Factory this weekend. You can hear lots of racket and noise going on back there because Drew is inside taking out the seat brackets because we have to add some clip-ins for the seat belts. So that's the seat bracket that Drew made. And then we're gonna add some eyelets to that so we can clip in the seat belts, which the seat belts are down there on the floor. I'll show you guys here that in just a little bit. We've also had to remake the throttle arm just a little bit because it was hitting the bottom of the air filter when it was tightened down really tight, and it would hang the throttle open at like half throttle. Well, that's not a good thing. You see I kind of radiused this off right here so that it wouldn't touch the bottom of the air filter anymore, or the air filter housing. Yeah, we got some other things to do to this thing. Got to hook up another line on the valve cover. A lot to do, so follow along and get to work on a NASCAR with Drew. All right, so you can see we put a very, very comfortable, very safe Racetech seat in the car for Phil. And those seats are absolutely amazing. I've road raced with those before. And you end up after your session in the car feeling a whole lot better when you've got a seat that really fully supports you and everything that's you're being thrown around in the car. Well, when the seat is doing a good job holding you in place, you can focus on driving the car more, using your muscles to drive the car rather than hold yourself in the seat. Which also is something to say, even with you guys drag racing, autocrossing, road racing, whatever you're doing, pull your seat belts as tight as you can get them, even to the point of where it is uncomfortable. I think I've said that in a past video way back, but before you pull out of the pits, your seat belts should be hurting a little bit. And then as you get to be making laps, your fire suit will compress a little bit. Your body will dehydrate a little bit, especially if you are doing a long session like a road race deal, kind of like the endurance racing that I do. By the time you get back in, even during my session, I find myself tightening my belts even more while I'm out on track. But just a little seatbelt tip for you guys. Not a whole lot to do under the hood here. We've got one little hole to patch back there on the firewall. Drew actually fabricated this last week, and I forgot to mention that on some of the things we did. But we did it kind of, I know me, Mr. OCD, everything being square, it looks a little weird how we got that bar and then that's not lining up right, and that's at one angle, that's another angle. So it's kind of a function over form thing, because we needed to be able to get to this, but we also still need to be able to get the coils off. So this is kind of where the bar has to go on this side. Well, on this side, if we match that here, well, then we can't get the oil cap off. So you really put oil in the dry sump tank at the back of this car to fill the engine with oil, because the engine, being a dry sump, for those of you that didn't know what that means, there is barely any oil in the engine except for where it needs to be in the bearing channels. So the oil is primarily held in the oil tank that is at the back of the car, and the engine actually has a very, very small amount of oil inside of it. So really didn't have to leave this accessible here for the tube, but we just did. Thought it'd be better done like that. And we've got to get the air filter housing back on it. There was actually a hole in the bottom of it that needed to be patched. So we cut some carbon fiber and epoxied that into the bottom of the air filter, so that all of the air going through this cowl vent, which is right at the base of the windshield, that's going to go right down into the engine. But this thing is definitely Super cool. And for some people wondering, yes, it is in fact a real deal NASCAR. That is the NASCAR chassis number. You can see it is stamped in there. RCR 0617609. There are NASCAR inspection stickers on many of the parts. On the chassis, down there. On all different sorts of parts that, you know, where this thing was legal to be a cup car. Now, it never saw time in a race as far as we know, but still it was capable of that, and it's gonna make an awesome track car. Has all the roof flaps in it. It's mandated by NASCAR. All this stuff is all carbon fiber. These are spring loaded, so they fall down. We've got adjustments for the springs on the higher holes. Got one there and then one there. And then this is the track bar adjustment, which I'm not super sure how that affects all that, because I don't have a lot of experience with these truck arm style suspensions, but there's a reason for that. Maybe we can figure that out and play with it at the track at some point. But the roof flap over here, I thought this was kind of cool. It's got a little side flap on it. Keeps the air from getting around it. I think these are some kind of Kevlar rope or something like that. But all of this thing is just super cool. All these little carbon fiber air ducts, some over there. All the different braces and stuff. You can see how this is the adjuster here. It's just got a universal joint. And then it's pinned to this threaded rod right here that adjusts the rear spring. Super cool. All right, I'm gonna set up a time lapse. You guys can follow along with what Drew's doing, but enjoy the show. All right, well, if you were following along in the time lapse, you saw Drew messing with the shocks. And basically, the shock bolt is a 3/8 bolt here, but the eyelets in the shock I think are 1/2 inch. So the shocks were kind of flopping around in there. So Phil found us the correct spacers that thread into the shock. Is kind of a nifty thing. Actually, I can show you on the back shocks.
Come look at this one. Look at the etching on that.
What do you mean?
Look at the etch on it.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Can y'all see that? It says KSR on it. Sorry, Phil. It's got KSR inscribed on it. Like we just, it's KSR's now. It's got something. What are the odds, really? That's got, it says KSR J2. I wonder what that even means. Huh. Anyways, aside from as cool as that is, let me see if I can sit down here and not flip off of this seat. Did you tighten these up?
I snugged them.
Okay.
You mean unsnug them?
So there's a very small, like you can see the ball on the inside. Yeah, I can't quite get it loose by hand.
Unsnugged them.
I'm gonna have to get Drew over here with some wrenches.
Oh, I snugged them pretty good.
So you're saying I wasn't just being a weenie?
No, it's legit.
So check out these little tiny bushings. Isn't that snazzy? 1/2 inch hole, 3/8 bolt. And that snugs on there with little tiny flats to put a wrench on there to tighten them in. Cool.
Sweet.
There's your shock.
Thank you.
So he also got all of the seat mounts made, and they're either, looks like they're right there. Took them out and had them painted. So they're ready to go back in as soon as we get the KSR shocks back installed. That's freaking hilarious. So once we do that, I'm gonna do a data log on a cold start because it's a little cool again today. Tomorrow morning it's supposed to be in the 30s, so I'll get a cold start on that, and then Phil's gonna come get this thing, and this weekend we're gonna do some exhibition laps with it at the Freedom Factory. So that's pretty exciting. Hopefully this video is out before Saturday, so you guys can come see what all we've got going on. Come see us at the Freedom Factory. I think we'll probably bring a little bit of merch stuff, maybe some hoodies, because I think it's gonna be chilly down there. But hoodies, hats, maybe some kind of t-shirt. But anyways, getting to where we're putting this thing back together. And then I'm actually gonna take it for a ride in this video too. So we'll drive it around the industrial park here and stir all the neighbors up with really loud race car driving around through the hood. All right, well, we're gonna go for a ride in this thing. Get my seat belts out. Yes, I am gonna use my seat belts. Where in the heck? Where'd they go? Sit down. There we go. Take this thing for a little test ride. Actually see if I can bed the brakes in a little bit.
You yank on that steering wheel one time, make sure it's tight.
I certainly can and will. Guess I should fire this thing up and let it warm up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
She good.
Feel like NASCAR driver yet?
Hope it's got enough gas in it to make a lap around the park.
Got your phone when you call me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good.
Not a bad cold start. Yeah. That wasn't bad at all. It's like, I think about 45, 50 degrees out right now. Look at it lifting the front of the car with the gasser in it. This whole thing. Yeah. Like that was really good. All right, well, I would say that was a very successful test drive. Obviously, new problems expose themselves when you take a new build for a test drive. I'm not a huge fan of the brake feel, but it could just be they need a lot more heat in them. Or maybe it's pad compound. There's lots of different things that you can make the brakes better or worse. Pad compound is a big thing. Like there's brake pad compounds that grip really well from, you know, cold all the way through hot. Some brake pads are designed to only grip really well, you know, when they get real hot. Lots of different science and stuff and weirdness involved with brake pad science and physics, but great test drive. Temperature ran great. Needs a little bit of alignment work, but we'll tell Phil to get on that so he can tailor it to his liking once he gets it on the road racetrack. But I'd say that was pretty good. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Thanks again for watching. See you guys next time. And come to the Freedom Factory to see us make some rips in this thing today. See ya.